So I'm guessing you want to learn how to drill your aquarium, but you also want to make sure that it doesn't explode. Why could it explode? Well, your glass might actually be tempered. And you know what tempered glass is. It's glass that is heat treated and rapidly cooled to make it 4 times stronger than regular glass. And you've probably seen tempered glass break before. It shatters into a million pieces and you can't technically drill it. So today I'm going to teach you how to know for sure if your aquarium is tempered or not, and then of course how to drill it properly. First and foremost, we're going to take advantage of the way tempered glass is made to use as one indicator, which is usually the only indicator you need, but I'm going to show you 6 different ways that you can tell if your aquarium is tempered or not before we risk drilling it and shattering it. So like I said, tempered glass is made from regular glass, but it's superheated up to like 600 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit, one of the two. And then it's rapidly cooled with cold air blowing down on it really fast, cooling it and then heated and cooled it again really quickly. But all of that wind blowing down on it causes defects in the glass. You can't really see them to the human eye, but if we take polarized glasses and then look at the glass, we'll know if it's tempered or not. But you need a piece of glass that you know for sure is tempered to make sure that these glasses are polarized in the first place. And the best thing that you can do is go to your car window. Your side windows, at least in North America, are regulated. They have to be tempered. So we're going to put our glasses on and we're going to just look at it from multiple angles. And what you're going to see is lines through it. Sometimes, depending on the sunlight and other conditions outside, you might even see them in multiple colors. When you take the glasses off, they disappear. Now, if you go to your aquarium and you kind of see that same thing, your glass that you want to drill is likely tempered. But that's only one way, and that depends on the glasses, the conditions, etc. So I have another way. Tempered glass is made to size. It's not sold in massive sheets and then they cut it up and resell it. It's made to size, and every time they make it to size, it has to be stamped, stating that it's tempered glass. So we're going to look for that stamp, and it's typically going to be in one of the corners. Sometimes aquarium manufacturers will put it on the bottom brace, so tip the aquarium upside down, and or you might even be able to see it. That's very common in 40-gallon tanks, in fact. The most common tempered glass is in a 10-gallon tank, so you can kind of use a 10-gallon tank a lot of the times, well, they used to be tempered, to kind of test that theory. So we'll be looking for that stamp. Can't find it? We're going to look for something else. The next method involves looking at the edges of the glass. What we're going to be looking for is how smooth it is. See the bevels here? You can see kind of how it was cut. That means that's not tempered glass. Another example, I can feel the edges. They're not really routed off. They're not smooth, and you can kind of see how it was cut. You can rub your finger along it, and you can almost see how it broke or how it was cut apart. Now the back panel on my 700 is low iron, and it actually does have beveled edges and smoothed, but they're machine smoothed. So we can use polarized glasses. We can look for that stamp of that it's tempered. We could check all of the edges, see how those look. And of course, if you know the manufacturer of the aquarium, call them and say, hey, I got one of these aquariums by you. It's this size. Is it tempered? Yes or no? Send an email. Wait a couple days. You already had to wait a couple days for the whole saw to come anyway. Which brings up the next way to test. We're going to take the diamond-coated hole saw and we're going to scratch the tank with it. Only in the place that you actually want to drill. So, for example, if I were going to drill right here, I take the hole saw and I just try to scratch the tank. If I can scratch it with just the force of kind of like a little bit of weight pushed on it, tempered glass doesn't do that. Remember? Tempered glass is 4 times stronger. You can still scratch tempered glass, but not this easily. Now that you know if your aquarium's tempered or not, we can move on to how to drill the aquarium and what to do it with. Obviously, you're going to need a bulkhead. This is its nut. This is its gasket. Basically, this allows us to pass water through your aquarium, whether you want to hook up a filter, some sort of drain system, water change system, you name it. People want to drill their tanks for a number of reasons, and a lot of people are scared. The bulkhead goes on the inside of the tank with the gasket on the inside of the aquarium to keep it watertight. The nut goes on the outside of the aquarium and tightens up, holding it in place. To drill the hole, we're going to use a diamond-coated hole saw. Looks like this. They're not cheap, maybe about 10 bucks a piece, depending on the size. The hole saw that I had to drill was I had to drill a 2-inch hole, and that one was like $30. But for something like this, 38 millimeter for a 3/4 inch bulkhead, all we need to do is size so it goes just on the neck of the bulkhead. We don't want it too big because then obviously the whole thing can pass through. To get your hole started, you're going to start your drill up, and the hole saw is going to be kind of angled until you get a groove. Once that groove's made, you can flatten it out. A lot of the times you won't be putting directly straight through the tank. Likely you'll be going down into it, but if you have to go in through the side, not that big of a deal. We need to cool the hole saw down and remove all of the sand that's going to accumulate as you drill. Otherwise, the hole saw can get too hot, the sand can liquefy again, and you're going to come into much bigger problems, pretty much making this useless. Now, we all know how to use a drill, but these numbers on top of the drill, a lot of people don't know what they're for. Mine are kind of worn off. But what you'll want to do, I like to go all the way down, depending on the thickness of the aquarium, to like about 4.5, something like that. And what that does is that if it catches on in anything in the aquarium, it'll trip and won't keep spinning. Maybe that's a little too strong. So when we're drilling, that means is if it hooks onto something, if something bad happens, if you get on, it's not going to crack the tank. I've cracked tanks before by putting it on the full drill mode. You want it to kind of trip itself. Every 15 to 20 seconds, we're going to take that hole saw out of the tank, and we're going to put it in some water and rinse off all of the sand because, well, glass is essentially sand. If you get some in the tank, contrary to popular belief, it doesn't hurt your fish. Otherwise, a lot of you guys would be taking out some substrate real quick. Before you even start drilling, though, you're going to want to take a piece of tape and put it on the inside of where you're going to drill, so when that piece of glass is done falling out, or when it's done being drilled, it doesn't fall out onto the tank and potentially crack the tank or something else might happen. It's incredibly simple to drill an aquarium, and once you do it right the first time, it's pretty addictive because it opens your world of aquariums up to doing and being able to do a lot more, from plumbing your canister filters inline, maybe having inline circulation, maybe it's a water change system, maybe you're hooking up a sump, or maybe you're connecting it to other aquariums. Tons of reasons you might want to do it, but the number one thing is, what's scarier to drill? I just drilled my 700-gallon aquarium with 3/4 inch thick glass. What if I had to drill these 15s? Wouldn't this be faster? It would be faster, but it's scarier because the glass is so much thinner, so much more can go wrong, and I could break it. We're going to take far more time doing this than we will in the 700 because a 700-gallon thick glass, there's really not a lot that can go wrong. Now, when you feel the weight of the drill, a lot of the times when you're coming down, that's how much pressure you want to do. Just kind of let the drill rest straight up and down and drill. I like to push a little bit harder, but same for the going through it sideways, is you only really need 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds of pressure until you get to the very end, and then you want to go really slow, because if you didn't hold it perfectly level, it's gonna, pieces and parts of the hole are gonna come through faster than others. So you might have to kind of angle it to make sure it all comes through at the same time, so you don't get any chipping on the inside. Anyways, that's how you drill a glass aquarium, to make sure that it's not tempered. I've shown you guys this 30 times now, so you better know and have it memorized. Maybe you don't want to drill your aquarium right now, but maybe you will someday, and when you do, you're going to know exactly how, and you're going to have all kinds of confidence. You're going to know exactly what to look for and exactly what to do. Anyways, if you like these types of videos, make sure you leave me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already. I'll see you guys in the next video.